Hello everyone, the one called Fate knocks at your door. Preemptive dice roll there. It's me, your boy, Hunt. We're back with our part 2 of the D&D story on our podcast here at Tabletop Recop. I'm still thinking about RoboCop from last time.
Too many references.
Yeah, I love RoboCop. So we have our regular co-host, Big Boy Chungus. Say hello.
Hello.
We have Karen, the Manager Slayer, with us yet again.
Hello.
And we have
Kami.
Yeah!
Kami.
Super Kami Guru.
I thought it was because you were a communist.
No, I'm Kami because I am God in this universe.
I failed to see that.
In the last episode, we talked about our first 2 sessions. The second, which was funny, and we wanted to talk about it, but was not canon. Everything we say today is canon to our story. We're talking about sessions 3 and session 4, which we just played. We literally haven't even cleaned the D&D stuff off the table yet. We just played it so recently.
I gotta take some notes still, just so I don't forget everything that just happened.
Your waifu here has plenty of notes. She's got over half a page of notes of what we just did, which is good for coming back and the podcast, because we do self-written campaigns, which makes things harder to remember because you can't just flip to a page and, you know.
But we don't have to worry about lawsuits.
Yeah, but you didn't license that. Wizard's coming for you. We're going to roll for initiative, so you get to talk first. Thing we do here. I crit failed, which means I have to leave the podcast permanently.
You can't
Yes,
talk.
that makes it better. I got a 7.
6.
10.
Oh,
All right, so
Karen, you can either go first and start the story, or you can yield your time.
Well, I feel like our GM should kind of keep doing the thing where he sets the, scene.
Okay, you yield your time then.
All right, so we'll go ahead and set the pace. The last time that we talked, we broke down basically session 2, which we kind of removed from the canon as a separate timeline because nobody was prepared to play a second session. So
yeah.
Third session, we picked up at the end of first session, effectively. So at the end of first session, everybody had successfully survived escaping the Archbishop's study. They'd made it across the river. They'd made it into the slums. And thanks to Oliver Gideon's folk hero backstory, they'd made it into a home to take a long rest, recover their HP, and recover their spells. Then they hit the wide, bigger world. And at that point, I feel like I should hand it over to somebody else who was playing.
Yeah, so basically that next morning we go out.
I thought you weren't talking. Because of that.
Hey, you crit failed. This is my podcast now.
You crit failed.
I'm saying what you guys are dumb.
Yes,
everyone's dumb except for me.
Sean, would you like to comment?
Right, so
just stole it from me.
Yoink.
It's fine. Go ahead, man.
A few months have actually passed since we played this game, and my ability to role play and see what's going on in the game had improved
Drastically.
Yeah, he's been studying D&D nonstop.
I actually wanted to hear from you guys, because me saying anything at this point is me just tooting my own horn.
Honk honk.
Yeah, so what would you guys say is the biggest change that my character had just initially right off?
Well, he's still
basic
dumb, but
thought
he's less
processing.
Dumb. Yeah, it's like the ability for neurons to fire in his brain is new.
All right.
You're dumb.
But I'm funny.
You're funny. You're really funny.
Sometimes.
Funny to make fun of.
Just don't try to be funny, and then you'll be like Dan Cook, or I don't know, comedian names.
So, yeah.
Honestly, the best change you made was forethought. And that sounds insulting,
No,
and I don't mean it to be,
It's
it's more intended as this is the consequences of my actions, and this is how it will affect my party, so what do I do to not screw my party?
It's just that he was used to RPGs with pre-made selections, like Fallout.
And single-player campaigns, not multiplayer campaigns, where somebody else has to play off of your selection.
Yeah, he just had to learn how to roleplay in this specific way, is all.
It's a gear shift.
Yeah.
I also got a little bit more creative. I was starting to think with, okay, here's my spells and abilities. These aren't just for dealing damage and fighting enemies. I could use these for my environment. I can use these with my players. I can use this with the other NPCs.
Yeah,
and that's a very important
you had a
change.
good moment when we tried to get back, because we decided to go back into the sewer to head back into into the
Spoiler alert.
So
it's not a spoiler alert. That's the next thing we did.
Well, do you want to break down the next phase of operations? Then we'll get to that.
Yeah. So we had like a little planning period, and then Karen's character Oliver, who is a boy toy. He's single, ladies. Yeah, that's gay that you're playing as a boy. And so he was like, let's just go back in the tunnel. And my character was not for that. He was very upset. If you listen to the last podcast, he's like this noble dude, and he does not like to be dirty.
Again, that was a great moment of role-playing, I have to say. You really do lean into that in a very good way.
I stink when I'm trying to be creative during combat, but just being like creative, the social situations, I do really well.
Accurate.
Yeah. I know my shortcomings.
And my character was concurring with Oliver, saying something to the effect that, well, no one wants us here. Like, we're still going to stick out like sore thumbs. At least if we go back to the sewers, we've got some cover and can hide.
So we basically like ride the river back to the atoll. I used my grappling hook to get up there. I think you just were buff. And then, I think Oliver was just buff. But what I was getting to was something clever you did, because you just used like a little spell to change your eye color, and then that allows you to do this big leap thing.
Yeah. So my character as a storm sorcerer, I wasn't going to try and climb up at first because my character sucked at strength.
Weak.
You have a 9 in strength, which is a -1 modifier.
Yeah.
Which
so
sucks
I wasn't going to try and do that because if I failed this, then there's a chance I might draw attention to us. Didn't want that. So what I did is I got a little creative. I have this ability called Tempestuous Magic, where before or after I cast a spell as a bonus action, I can jump 10 feet in the air, which is exactly how high this thing was, and I would just do that to get in. So I cast a cantrip called Thaumaturgy, which
Thaumaturgy.
It's a very simple cantrip. You can make it do as little or as much as you want in terms of affecting the environment. So I just used it to change my eye color, and then magical winds quietly lifted me in the air.
What color were the eyes?
Blue.
I thought that
I did
Brilliant. The exact opposite of any kind of actual tiefling.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wears off after a minute, so. But I did that, and the only downside was I failed a Constitution check, and I wound up hitting my head on the way in.
Oh,
But
yeah, I
still
remember
succeeded.
that. That was funny.
You took about, what, 3 damage?
No, I got a concussion, though.
Yeah, I remember the
Oh, wait.
yeah.
You had a concussion, but you didn't take any damage, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I had, like, disadvantages on any kind of saving
Yeah.
throws for, like, the next 5 minutes.
Well, to be fair, crawling up the sewers took 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was going against the flow.
Yeah, my night vision was slightly jarred a little bit.
There was
I think it
one
was
point
just being
later where
addicted
he was
at
talking
that
about
point.
using
Yeah.
like flames in there, and we were like,
I remember you were really
don't.
upset because you didn't understand what was going on.
yeah, we
Like,
didn't. Karen and I didn't understand your jump because we were like, how did he jump if he's treading water? And then you guys had to explain the magical properties.
Yeah,
of it
so
to us.
I don't actually jump. It's magical winds force my body upward.
Yes, but the way you explained it, we were like, wait a second.
The word
he
jump
says-
is in the description, so
No.
it was confusing.
Yeah, no, it's literally just a flight, effectively.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
a 1 turn, you get 10 feet of flight.
It was kind of funny. The way
And then
Chung
you
just
immediately fall
described
down
it.
when you hit
It's
that
kind of like
10
when
foot limit.
Jotaro fought Dio and their spiritual pressure was making them float.
But it was me, Dio!
Oh my gosh.
So
Karen does not like JoJo.
we
It's,
all successfully
So,
make it up and
In various ways, I should
Yes.
say, because some people swam, and some people used illusion, and some people used a wisdom check to stealth through the crowd and find when the guards were, doing their rounds.
Yeah, we all made sure to be separate because they were looking for a group of 3, etc., etc. We were just being very smart, but we were even smart about the way we swam because we didn't want to get stuck against like the wall of the dome and etc., etc.
Somebody was a good example of what not to do in previous sessions.
yeah.
Yeah, we really have been these sessions 3 and 4. We almost overthought things sometimes.
But
Which
it's
is not
kind
the...
of- Yeah. or-
Better than underthinking.
as we've seen in
Let the
Ocarina of
record
Time
show I
now.
immediately stared at Big Boy Chungus.
let's be real. If you think about like Fallout, like the game, and you have like you can be rude or you can be super schmoozy, whatever.
And it doesn't
but
have much of a reaction.
It
from
doesn't.
anybody.
But in D&D, you can literally kill yourself if you're just not smart. It's not like you're playing a game. It's fine. You're gonna survive.
You called the troll a fat heifer.
My
Yeah,
Paul,
you
Your
don't
consequences of action.
respawn, bud.
Yeah, you don't respawn.
My policy is that fear of death encourages a little bit of excitement and a little bit of tension. That makes everything more fun when you succeed.
Yeah, when there's
when your
actual
health pool-
consequences for a character that you spent a lot of time making and really care about.
Does anybody here play Dark Souls? Because that's kind of my policy. Is Dark Souls is failing encourages like the enjoyment of success.
I prefer Sekiro, but I do enjoy the Dark Souls gameplay.
Dark Souls is absolutely the core of that franchise, and we will talk about that later.
Oh my god. You guys are nerds.
Yeah, sorry.
You watch live-action Japanese stuff, so bite me.
Super Sentai.
Rhymes with hentai.
Yeah, we gotta move on.
They did succeed in their various formats, getting across the river and back into the sewers that they had evacuated
There and back
previously.
Yeah, my kid was so mad.
Good reference, I like that, Chungus.
But I mean, like, that's great about your character because he did care.
Yeah, he really did. He likes to be clean.
And there was some good RP associated with
Yeah.
that.
So we get there and have our first in-canon
Fight.
fisticuffs.
Yeah, which was rather unique because only 2 of us really participated in it.
Yeah! Yeah!
Kind of like the non-canon fisticuffs.
Y'all made fun of me for hanging back in the non-canon one, and then Karen here does the same thing I did.
So let's explain what led up to this.
Yeah,
So-
let's just start this.
I'll break it down if you don't mind, just
Go
as
ahead.
GM. So as they go back up the sewer, what they ran into was basically the exact same thing when they were escaping the cathedral, which meant that there was a 5-foot by 5-foot ledge into the water.
Dark.
So it was absolutely pitch black. There's no ability to see unless you have dark vision. And suddenly, daggers and things start flying out of the darkness. And there was absolutely, to my mind, no indication of where it was coming from beyond it's coming from down the hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Oliver just decides to take off down the hall.
Okay.
Okay, so Karen had a pretty valid reason.
Yes.
I will give you that. You had a valid reason, but I had a valid reason too. But it was all dumber than yours. But
So let's start with Karen's reason then for running.
Okay, so basically the orientation in which we got out of the sewer, I would have been, attacking the back of my allies' heads if I made any attack. Also, only one of us has dark vision, so I could not attack without hurting someone. So I figured if I went down the hall where the light was, maybe rip one of the sconces off and have it as light, or
Towards where the Clockwork Dragon had been previously.
yeah.
Which, for all we know, that door could have still been open.
But I didn't
Accurate.
want to attack the back of my allies' heads, and
So,
I wanted to see.
so reasons notwithstanding, that leaves my character, Fate, and Moneyhaver to fight this.
Gaddick McMoney,
The rogue and the
best character name
sorcerer.
ever written. Yeah.
By the way, the sorcerer is not doing so hot on health.
Ever.
Ever.
You have the weakest character, dude.
What's your HP, by the way?
Maximum is 20. At that time, I had 10.
Dude, my maximum's like 39. So, Oliver and I both have double your HP, pretty much.
Literally
Yeah.
double the HP.
Which is a wonder why I keep getting put on the front lines in these situations.
You do it to yourself.
Now, I did actually ask everybody to roll luck. So whoever had the lowest D20, because nobody specified their positioning, I had to just
Yeah.
decide
all kinda just
arbitrarily.
Pulled ourselves up out of there
We
against
climb
the
out of the
current.
sewer.
Yeah.
So,
But this was actually, once the fight was underway, Moneyhaver's character, or Moneyhaver, actually had a genius stroke of
Yeah.
creativity with
Yeah,
his spell.
because
Brilliance,
I
in fact.
shot a ray of frost and it missed because I couldn't see anything. And then I was like, I shoot it at the ground and it froze the dude's feet and then he fell flat on his butt and we just pummeled the crap out of him.
Specifically, now that I could see where our thing was, I just start unleashing magic.
Yeah, he was a bloody mess. And Oliver's running back like, wait, I want to interrogate him. And then by the time Oliver gets back, it's done. The dude is like charred
and let me
corpse.
tell you how brutal this was. First things first, I actually thought my character was going to have an alignment change from good to evil because as soon as I saw the foot marks, I wanted to smirk. Because, like, there you are, you little turd.
It was funny. Like, the way the DM described it was really funny.
So, honestly, when I was describing the situation, I did actually include that there was condensation over everything and it was like a wet environment. And so Hunt absolutely leaned into that when he said he cast Ray of Frost at the ground and froze the person in place. And I didn't have a reason that wouldn't be incredibly effective.
You even read the specifics of the spell and were like, yeah, that works.
You absolutely froze this person in place. And so I had to specify that if somebody was sitting in condensation, you'd absolutely be able to see where their feet prints were. I mean, you could see both their feet.
And
so
falling on their
the
butt
sorcerer had a standing target to unleash all of his wrath. And it was insane. And you rolled 30, 40 damage?
Yeah, I rolled lightning bolt. And the in-game...
You rolled the spell that killed children. But in the new standard version, you just killed an assassin.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned this last time. He shot that lightning spell, and because I had rolled that, like, 20 perception or something.
Yeah,
or whatever.
you rolled in that 20.
Yeah, and then my character had a sense of quantum deja vu from that last fight that's not canon anymore. So it was really funny.
He suddenly felt like he was standing on a board and giants were standing around him rolling dice.
I hate that joke. You know I hate that joke.
And I love that joke.
Such a dumb joke.
But it's accurate.
But that doesn't end there with the spell casting and the butt whooping, because I originally I wasn't going to try and kill the guy, but I was too close and he winds up stabbing me. This rogue who's invisible stabs me in the gut, and with me being as low HP as I am, I freak out, and I have a counter spell as a tiefling called Hellish Rebuke, where when I take damage, I can point my finger at someone, and the target will take damage and burst into flames. So this rogue is now being set on fire underneath his armor and clothing. And he's just
I love that spell.
There's actually a specification that it ignores armor class. So, like, his armor is completely intact, but he just got fried.
He was cooked from the inside out.
It's insane. So violent.
And then he died.
That was actually the deciding factor of... I do have a policy of when you kill somebody, I ask how you kill them.
Yeah.
Which I think adds a little bit more fun.
And the only thing that was funnier than that, in my personal opinion, my character didn't think it was funny, but I did, was when Oliver tried chucking the body back in the sewer and then tried to wrestle it back out.
And then we were like, stop, don't do that. It's going to go float outside and everyone will see it.
Before you even said anything, I threw it in there and then I'm like, wait a second. I pulled it back out, but I was like, oh no, if someone comes down here, they're going to see a body. Gotta get rid of it.
I'm a GM who will absolutely punish stupidity, because if you throw a body in a sewer, somebody's going to see it and think, oh, that's suspicious.
Yeah, because that floats right out into the main channel where all the guards are.
Don't worry, I fixed it before.
You fixed it.
Yes.
It was an okay reaction. Okay, so the next thing we did was go back kind of to the... Fate informed us there was a door.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, finally.
Big surprise, I had a lapse in judgment.
Yeah, what a surprise.
And turns out there's a door at the end of this hallway.
Well,
and we were like, excuse? He was like, why don't we go to that door? What?
Didn't y'all fight the assassin along the way?
Yeah, well, the assassin was right when we got out of...
The assassin was before the door.
The assassin was before the door.
Yeah.
So y'all,
we got out of the sewer, immediately fought the assassin right there on the ledge of the sewer, because remember the body.
Yeah, no, I just didn't think we had covered the death, because you...
we
covered the death.
I cast Hellish Rebuke. He was cooked from the inside out.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just took a little breather, so we had to get our grounds again. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that place, because that's like the first place we were supposed to go on day one. And we just didn't do it.
The assassin was supposed to be like a basic intro to combat for
new players.
Chungus, and y'all just managed to avoid that and the first room of
due to my complete derailment of the campaign.
So we're in the sewer. He's like, hey guys, by the way, there was this door, and we're like, well, I guess we're gonna go check out that door.
So they climbed 7 stairs, or 7 flights of stairs, and revisited the door from the first session, opened it up, and found some information.
Oh, tons of information. Tons.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the DM talk about that, because I don't remember it.
So
I do have some names. Aaron Birchwood took over for the bishop that was assassinated. The Pope, the dead Pope dude, Alexander. setting suns was kind of the zealot part or something.
Okay, so I'll go
Bishop
ahead.
Kraft Richter, evil twin's name is Borden. I made that cheese joke earlier.
So I'll go ahead and recap because it has been about a month since we last played. It'd be a good recap. So very brief recap is that when they open the door, it is a room. It's a personal study for the Archbishop. It's got a bunch of records for money, and the Archbishop was actually embezzling funds from the church, and he was redirecting it to an organization that was trying to counter a zealotous group within the church. So while embezzling is never good, he was redirecting the funds towards trying to stop a zealotous, let's hang all the tieflings and elves in the city group.
Not cool.
No bueno on that one.
It is not cool, bruh.
And so his
Don't laugh at me.
his active participant within that, the head of his subdivision, his name was Aaron Birchwood, who was kind of signing the papers for all the embezzlement and some other stuff. Again, very quickly recapping, Kraft Richter was another name that was not associated with any of the good stuff and was very much associated with the zealotous actions. Again, we're talking lynchings and kicking out the tieflings and all the other bad things that you could associate with the church. So the previous archbishop, who has just been murdered, was actually a pretty good dude. He's kind of a cool character. Y'all will learn more about him in future episodes.
Yeah, he was a pretty fly guy, and soon we'll know why.
Yep. So,
proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
So the room kind of confirmed that, despite some conversations y'all had otherwise, the Archbishop was not a bad dude, despite the fact that y'all expected him to be an evil guy.
Yeah, we actually thought about making him out to be evil to clear our names for a little bit, but...
And my character, who absolutely hates authority and the church in general, was like, okay, I was wrong.
Again, that was actually a reason back in session 2 where I was like, yeah, the people love this Archbishop, and they're really upset at his death because he was a cool dude.
Seems to be a universal love, pretty much, so
he was actually trying to prevent some zealotous crap from within inside the church. He was a restraining figure on the church. So that was kind of what y'all learned in that room.
Gucci gang.
So,
and then we hid in the walls for a while. We literally went inside the walls of the church, like pressed flat. So, oh, did you hear a kitty? I heard a kitty. Yeah, but we were pressed flat in the walls, like we were all just eavesdropping, and I think we just heard arguments and blah, blah, blah.
It was essentially a world building episode.
Basically like confirmations of stuff that we'd already heard and some slight expansions, but you have all the information, so we don't have to explain all the combos we heard. That cat wanted love.
This is a sweet kitty.
Yeah.
We have a great cat.
Rate this podcast if you could hear the cat screaming. 5 stars, of course.
Obviously.
But,
so that was the end of session 3. Was a lot of catch up from what we had missed in session 1 because of somebody.
Yeah, 3 was 1 combat and then a bunch of information.
So 4 has just ended.
Yeah, we just played 4. The cat just smacked me.
Reminding you who's boss.
So cute.
Let's stay focused.
Focused on a cat, maybe. But, I'm sorry. Cats are cute.
They are.
But, so in this one, they were like, hey, Mr. Rogue Man, why don't you go out and do some stuff? Because the assassin had this invisibility amulet on them. And I have that now. And I was using that to sneak around hallways. Not that I needed it because they were completely empty.
My character originally did find the ring, but Fate, trying to use his neurons for once, said, you know what? I'm not a rogue. This ring of invisibility could be good for our rogue. Here, rogue, have ring.
Yeah, my
that's
respect
actually a
for
pretty accurate breakdown.
Yeah, that's the thing that made my character kind of respect him more. And then he destroyed that later in this session. He
we'll talk about later.
He destroyed all the respect that my character had built for him. My character does have really high respect for Oliver, though, because of stuff.
Well, for the record, your character kept pushing buttons and pushing buttons and pushing
my
buttons.
character...
We'll justify that later.
Yeah.
There's one word, just a slur. Come on, get over it,
Demon.
So, tarp demon.
Tarp demon, you.
That's actually funnier than.
Yeah, that's funny. No, dude. Okay, we'll get to it.
One thing at a time.
I'm just sneaking into everybody's offices, stealing stuff
by himself.
Yeah.
Me and Oliver are
They're
just
waiting
hiding
for
in the
me.
wall.
We decided, you know what? Maybe let the stealthy one do the stealth thing, just in case someone shows up.
And they said if you're in trouble, moan. And I was like, it'll sound like this. Ah! Just like a weird, really weird moan. So,
but there was some good planning about backup. Like, that was actually not a poorly thought out plan.
We almost overthought this time.
Yeah,
which
Oliver
we'll get to later with the magic doors.
Oliver was going to use Fate as a battering ram.
He didn't need.
We'll get to that, too.
Yeah. So I sneak around. I steal 2 rings. I steal 2 of the Setting Sun rings, and I find a letter of invitation for the Setting Sun. So I think I did pretty well. I just looted offices and got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Have we described what the Setting Suns is? Like in...
So the church has a symbol that is a sun coming up above the horizon, the Japanese rising sun, hoorah! But the zealotous, very angry side of the church is the setting sun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ba-ba-ba. So that is kind of the internal cult that these people are dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Just very short story.
And the letter is like, hey, welcome, dude. And
just like that.
Hey, what up, bro? Come to our rager.
Flash this ring at this wall and we'll let you in, brah.
Here's the location of our secret base. Don't leave this in your desk. But they did. I wish that would have been on the letter. That would have been so funny.
You did roll like an 18 on your first perception check, so I didn't have a reason not to throw that at you.
Yeah, so, I go to on the other side of the wall where they are, and I go, and then they bust out. Tell them what you did, Ollie. Tell them.
Well, I didn't want to look for a door, so I said I kicked the wall and rolled a nat 20.
Again! Just like last time when you kicked down a magical seal, you roll another nat 20 for a kick.
So kicked in a 2-foot thick wall of concrete and rock.
And the way it was described is the hole was the shape of a foot, but like the size of a person, which was really funny. And the best part was that's the area where I exited, so there was actually a hidden switch where they could have just opened the wall and walked out.
Accurate.
Which was
so unnecessary,
that was
but
such
so
a fate
beautiful
thing to do. And speaking of, someone had a bit of a line after that happened.
Yeah, that was me. As a character, so making a reference, I said, the one called Fate knocks at your door, but Oliver rings.
Can we get some shirts for that?
Yeah.
We need to find someone who can do like chibi artwork.
Yeah,
oh
if someone wants to do some cheap artwork, I'll do my best to pay for it. We're all poor. You know we're poor because we play tabletop games.
And we do a podcast on it.
You can't have money and actively play tabletop games.
Unless you're Matt Mercer.
Yeah, seriously.
Then,
so they kick the crap out of a wall to reconvene.
Yeah. And we hear from the floor above us, hey, you guys hear that? And so I'm like, come on, guys. I'm knocking dust off myself as we're running because I'm covered in gravel and stuff. And I'm like, I know how to get out of here. I know where the hidden sun dudes are. And I give Oliver one of the rings. I couldn't find a third one.
So only 2 rings for 3 players.
And so we formulate this little scheme where I'm going to pose as a donor and honorary member because I'm noble. And then Oliver is going to be my muscle. And this tiefling who wouldn't be let in anyways, so even if he had a ring, it wouldn't make sense. He's going to be our fake prisoner. So we had him hold some ropes on his hands, Chewbacca style.
New Hope.
Yeah, when we were planning it, they were like, what are we going to do? And I went, New Hope, Chewbacca! And so I had him hold the rope, and it was from my tent, and I almost had him put the tarp over his head like he was blind.
Tarp demon!
Tarp demon. But I was like, nah, I need him to see because it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And we need his tiefling eyes.
Again, world's dumbest flashlight coming through.
Yeah.
So y'all went down 3 stories from that point, and you opened up essentially a magical barrier into a room with a clockwork dragon that seemed oddly familiar.
Back in the clockwork dragon room, it's asleep. And so
suddenly, Moneyhaver and Fate are like, oh no! But we whispered it because we didn't want to alert this.
Oliver wants to fight it, and we are like,
no. We're mouthing.
We're like,
no,
we're just like
no,
running hands across our necks, like, no, cancel this.
All I wanted to do is get revenge for the singe marks.
Yeah, and I knew this would work. I was careful, but I knew it would work. So I'm like walking up to the dragon with my ring and the letter out, as if the dragon can read the letter. And then the dragon like wakes up and looks at us and is like, "Whatever, dude, just go on."
You'll have the secret passcode, aka the rings.
I think you need to describe this dragon because it was pretty good.
It was a really cool dragon. Tell us what your dragon looks like.
All right, so it's an 80-foot dragon made out of metal sheets, gears, and wires. But when it turns around and looks at these characters, they actually get a look at it for the first time, and it is a Cyclops-style dragon with a single monocle eye in the center of its head, scanning with this blue field everything that walks into this room. Now, thankfully, they had the ring that said, "Oh, don't kill us," effectively.
Yeah.
But minus those two rings, this scan would have revealed, "Oh, wait, I need to kill these things."
Yeah.
But it's a brass dragon that has been effectively Skyrim-style soul-trapped into a clockwork body.
So we're talking like Dwemer automaton crap.
80 feet of ticked off.
It was post up at the door that we kicked in.
Yeah, it was waiting for us to come back in. Plus that door had been fixed and like double sealed, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was like, come on, do it again. Do it again, suckers.
Yeah. So there's this big spiral staircase going down in the center of the room. And as we're going down that, lights are turning on it. The ring is turning on lights. And then we get into
the bottom of the stairwell.
Yeah.
And it reveals giant arc doorway.
And I will toot my own horn here. I'm proud of Fate for this. I start going crazy with the Arcana checks.
Yeah,
I'm checking left and right. I'm telling the guys to wait up, let me look at all this. Because, one, the archway is dark. So
and you don't have a ring, so you have to
absolute
be
pitch
double.
black.
Yeah, it's pitch black. And I look in there, and one, it's littered with dead bodies. So I'm trying to remember what it was I said, oh shoot, I don't even remember what it was I said, but it was great. They were, did you write that down?
No, I did write down that you guys started getting into it, though, like...
there
was some good roleplay, actually.
There was some...
Oh, I remember what it was. Someone was, harken for a Sparkin.
Oh my gosh.
My character told him straight up that was stupid.
If you cross it, you're harking for a Sparkin.
And my character calls him Demon because he
does it all the time. And, you know, Tart Demon's one thing. We all know that's a good fun, but he like says it maliciously. And my character's background, one, he hates being called a demon because background information. And plus it's just getting on his nerves. So at that point, my character had access to a rumor about Moneyhaver's
mother,
which
is aired now.
Yeah, so and my exact words were, "It's a good thing your mother died of illness, otherwise she'd have died of shame."
And
that was
like
scathing.
That destroyed all the trust that was built up because my guy's mother did die of illness, and it was really, really bad. It was the worst thing that ever happened.
This is one of those rumors that, like, again, everybody gave to the GM beforehand, and I passed out like as things progressed. So that was absolutely fantastic from a GM perspective. I was so happy that you used that.
That it worked out. So some rumors are true, some aren't. But that one, I tried to punch him, which confirmed its truth. But I didn't. I rolled very poorly.
You
so
rolled
he just
like a 3.
He just moved his head back like some action star. And I looked like such a wimp.
And I made
the sorcerer with a 12 AC dodged your attack.
Yeah. Oh god, he sucks so hard and I still miss.
And I made some snide remark like, "Oh, and I tick off the pretty rich boy" or something like that.
Oliver tried to comfort me though, because Oliver and I are buds.
Yeah, Oliver's everybody's bud.
Oliver's the only reason we can work together.
Yes, at that point we have some serious animosity. But for the record, I would not have said that had you not constantly been throwing around the slur.
Accurate. That is deserved.
So after we had a little role-playing moment...
which was beautiful.
Yes.
It was really good, and if it wasn't for... I can't remember who ticked me off, but somebody got really salty and ruined the moment.
I don't remember it. I honestly don't remember.
Probably
I thought
the
it was...
sconce thing. Let's be real.
There was something that happened that ruined... I was going to give everybody a fate point, and it just...
I don't think I even heard it, because I
thought
remember
it
you
was
said you weren't
because-
going to do it, and I was like, okay.
I thought it was because just my insult at his mother was such a low blow.
No, y'all started bickering about something petty, and we got lost
It was
for about
probably
5-10
the
minutes.
sconces. Let's be real.
I remember
No,
what it
because that didn't
was.
happen until we went in.
What was it?
Well, that's
Well, I
what
was
we
going to
were
say
at.
it was the sconces.
Yeah, I think it was the sconces because you were like, "Oh, go rip a sconce off the wall."
We'll get to that in just a
No,
second.
I thought that was pretty
So-
funny.
Well, anyways, the tiefling, because of his dark vision, could actually see into this room and see that there were dead bodies everywhere. Well, rotted dead bodies and skeletons.
And a pentagram on the floor, and automatically the anti-demon fears in me are going off like crazy. Like, I don't like
Yeah,
this
you have
one bit.
pentagram history.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like this one bit. I don't want to be here. But so the first thing that happens before we start doing all the Arcana checks is I run an Arcana check to make sure that it won't kill us as soon as we enter this
Yeah.
archway.
I went in just fine.
Yes. And then we realized that the archway had something to do with the rings we were carrying. So this was actually a really cool
Yeah.
bit of DMing. So you actually tried tossing the ring back out to let us in.
To let you in specifically.
So
'cause
as-
Oliver had a ring, and it shot back at me like a bullet.
Well, as he walked in, there was a spark clearly from the ring that went through the whole doorway. It was a clear indication that you needed the ring to get through. And I thought they were going to have to puzzle this through. He throws it through the door, in theory, and it fires back and does some damage from recoil. But no, they just outsmarted me.
Yeah. So I overthought, and I was like, I will use my...
Unseen servant.
I was trying to remember the exact name of it. My unseen servant to carry the ring across to him, and then he'll walk back through. And Oliver was like, why don't I just come in, grab it, and then walk back out and give it to him? And we were all like dumbfounded. like it was 5 seconds of silence, and we were all like, you beat us. You win the game. Campaign over.
We had 2 rings. Why not?
I was so upset that I had been outsmarted so easily.
Yeah, because he didn't expect me to get 2 rings. He didn't expect you to think of that.
It was just one punch after the other.
DM 101. They're gonna do it differently than you expect them.
And
to.
I was ticked, and I really wanted to punish them, but they had straight outsmarted me, so I couldn't really be mad that they had succeeded.
And from this moment on, we now have a series of rooms that we're having to explore. And I came up with this system where it's like, okay, Oliver, you have the most health. You check the door. I'll Arcana check the room. Moneyhaver, you just have my back in case something comes through. And we did that room by room with with no issues whatsoever.
There were 3 rooms directly coming off of the room with the pentagram. And in each of these direct rooms, they found a corpse with a setting sun necklace around their neck.
I remember, I want to say this first, because my character was mad at him still. So he said, after we'd all been in, he was like, everyone watch out for this pentagram. And I said, why? Isn't that just a letter of the alphabet to you?
And then,
Which I thought was really funny.
It was.
Scathing burn.
So I then make another perception and Arcana check, and I look, and I notice that around the room there's sconces. So of course I couldn't resist. I said, Oliver, be careful. And she's like, what? I said, there are sconces all around us.
So chill out, Oliver.
Don't rip them off the freaking walls.
No.
I needed to see, so I ripped sconces off.
These sconces you wouldn't have
weren't
helped
lit.
because they were just burnt out candles.
And they weren't even sconces, they were just candelabras
Yeah.
holding burnt out magical candles.
But in the side rooms each had a dead priest, dead from like blood magic, which was really unusual in what's supposed to be like a churchy setting.
Yeah.
So,
So why do we have this Sweet Sea Arcana magic mixed in with this hazelnut creamy priest magic?
that's a good way. Basically, Fate passed an Arcana check to determine that the magic in these rooms was not a divine or clerical style magic. This was very arcane, out of the ordinary for this setting.
There's an
magic.
absence of God from this magic.
There you go. That's a good way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And so it very much did not align with, clerical robes and a clerical symbol on their chests. So
And we wanted to get the bodies, but we were afraid of entering the room because we were like, did entering the room make him die? So I used my grapple gun to hook onto the bodies and drag them out. I mean, I had a net, but I was like, nah, I'll use my grapple gun.
Batman.
When you got it, use it.
You got it. I mean, it's the coolest thing. It's my favorite piece of gear. So I just dragged them, and I took their Rising Suns necklaces because I thought we might need them to activate the pentagram, and I was completely
You hear
wrong,
the
so I
James
just had
Bond
two.
theme?
So far, I mean,
Yeah, so
you're
far
not
I
totally
haven't
wrong.
Because let's talk about the next room because the side rooms were pretty easy to cover.
So the rooms to the left and right were just the corpses, but the room at the back of the room, there was a wooden door behind the pentagram. You opened it up, and there was another dead priest-looking guy, but there was a door behind him as well.
So this is strange. So we've got 3 identical rooms, but only one has an additional exit.
Yeah.
So
I knew it would. I called that early on.
I wanted us to do...
Symmetry is
just the
good.
placement of the room. Yeah.
I wanted us to do what we had been doing. Oliver opens the door, I Arcana check, and then the Money Haver has our back. But this is when things start getting crazy. Because the first thing that happens, and I kind of regret not doing an Arcana check on the door first, but Oliver opens it, or tries to.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's this wave of magic, and I recognize it as magic. Even Money Haver recognizes it as magic.
Arcane Trickster.
Yeah.
And she just... Oliver, he just starts puking. And I roll an Arcana check, and basically what has happened is that Oliver has experienced the magical equivalent of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, so since 2 of us are magic people, literally the one person that couldn't open the door is the one who tried to open the door.
Let's be real. It was Fate's idea.
It was.
It worked
Fate's
up until that point.
Fate's a turd.
So at that point, I check to make sure that Oliver is okay, because even though I'm not a medic or anything, I at least can tell, okay, are you actively dying or something?
Hey, you were at least
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, you did an Arcana check to make
Yeah.
sure.
You're the Oreo cream filling that keep these 2 hard cookies together.
Yeah, we're hard cookie boys.
Not totally wrong.
That's on the front of our mixtape, Hard Cookie Boys.
Buy the t-shirt.
It's literally just a picture of 2 of the Oreo cookie parts with no cream. It's the worst mixtape of all time. We can't give it away. Call 1-800-555.
Cookie
Please
Boys.
take them from me.
Okay, so
I don't know how to deal with these people.
He's like,
Somebody
I'm ready for
save
bed,
Tommy.
dude. I'm ready.
so I forget at that point. How did we get the door open?
Oliver
again?
Oliver just got thrown across as a protective measure.
we just
but
opened that
the
one.
The door itself was not actually magically locked, but just so long as you had any kind of magical resistance, you could open the door.
But then
The
there
next
was a
door was the
second
fancy
door.
one. Yeah, because I was like,
No,
okay.
that was the fancy doors. Y'all, you opened the door and you saw the. You could.
No,
kind
there
of,
was the push door next.
No, there was a second door
That-
that I
the-
kicked.
I thought that was the door that. Okay.
No, because that was just the door that we opened.
Yeah, there was this door that had the dead
That was the
priest in
sickness
it,
door.
and then
Sorry,
there
we
was
have like
the
a
door-
chart with us.
There's so many doors.
And then the next
Doors
door
on doors.
before the boss.
Sorry, I was rolling those 2 doors into one.
Right.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, so that's the one that
so-
force pushed us away.
Yes.
That was the DNA locked door.
Yes.
And then
The second door.
Oliver, the door destroyer, comes at it again.
Yeah,
With an 18.
I was like, here, I'll get the door this time in case it's the same way, and I shoot backwards and take like
No.
four damage.
I remember this.
So what happened was Fate proceeds to try and crack his knuckles, and he's getting ready to, say, "My time to shine. Let's see what you got." And then all of a sudden, here comes Oliver.
Yeah.
What does Oliver do?
Of course, I'm gonna kick in that door. Because also, I wanted to steal Fate's thunder. Let's be real.
It was so funny because it was a very successful roll. So he kicks in the door, and the door goes flying one way, and he goes flying the other from the spell.
And
It was like the magnets repelling each other.
it was Newton's lock.
It was so funny. And there's a boss in that room, and like the door flies by his head, and he's like, "What?"
and so I'm just standing there, my knuckles half cracked,
Yeah, it's in that position, like,
and I'm like, okay. And so I look in,
And Oliver has just flown like 12 feet across a room from recoil.
and so the boss is upset. I'm a little miffed, and I look in, and all I have time to say as Fate is, "He's a half elf mage."
he's a half-elf And the DM told us,
boom, here comes the magic.
Because we rolled like initiative and everything, and mine was a nat 20. And he was like, exact thing. And so we just like felt this evil aura from him, and we were like, we're gonna attack this fool right now. I put like 2 arrows in him right away.
From a nat 20, I give you an extra attack beginning in your attack phase. So he got an attack, and then he got his standard action.
I like arrows.
Oliver, lots of arrows.
Then Oliver was next for initiative, and what did you do, Oliver?
Yeah, I have a scythe that gives me the trip ability, so like superiority dice, fighter stuff. So I just I'm just gonna trip him so we can all gang up on him.
And we did.
Oh my gosh!
This boss literally didn't get a chance to speak.
Proceeding right after Oliver trips him, I see an opportunity, and I just go, and I proceed to practically spank him with lightning hands.
Yeah, get it, boy!
Like a bad boy.
Yeah. Well, I actually did the least amount of damage compared to what you guys were doing to him, but I shocked him. And out of that whole fight, I was the only one who took damage. But because
your character sucks, yeah.
But because he's a mage that we're fighting, his physical attack sucks. We only did like 4 damage.
Yeah.
Accurate.
He did that one thing where he pushed us all away, but we recovered pretty easily.
Y'all actually all rolled phenomenally on con and dex checks the entire fight. So there was, at a certain point, there was nothing I could do to y'all to stop y'all from beating this sucker into oblivion.
What happened was you both, Fate and McGaddick had 16, so they're like, oh, this is fine. Our con is totally good.
Yeah, I was given a sneak attack that hit hard. I rolled a 6 for every d6 I rolled, literally.
So you rolled like 24 damage in a single turn just because with a sneak attack on a rogue, if there's a companion next to your target that's not targeting the rogue, you get to add 3d6 immediately. So he just absolutely tore into this guy's butthole.
And I was so disappointed because Oliver wound up being the one to deliver the killing blow, but this was such
really wanted to get
well, so it was such a perfect position because I was getting ready to do Thunderstep, and
you flip it through your spell book.
And
your spell book.
And so I'm in melee distance, and Oliver's in melee distance of this guy, and I'm like, okay, I do Thunderstep. We're gonna do like 8d6 of thunder damage, and I'm gonna teleport me and Oliver the heck out of here. It's gonna be beautiful.
But nope.
And then Oliver decapitates him.
Action surge!
I'm not,
that skull smacked the ground, and we did this all in darkness. This is the best part. We could barely see him.
It was great. Well, Oliver got thrown back. He's a little miffed about this. This is like the 3rd time it's happened.
Your character was kind of mad.
In about 10 seconds, you got thrown about 40 feet.
Yeah.
So upset about getting thrown around.
Yeah,
it was great. It's extra attack, action surge. I just dumped everything into it.
I just imagine Oliver as this meat-headed, like, Southerner going, come here, boy. I ain't done with you yet.
Get off my property.
Just like that.
I love it.
Hippity hoppity, get off my plane of existence.
Oh, you could have rhymed.
So close.
Oh
so
my
close.
god.
That was
but yes, it was a very good fight where we just,
You say good. It was really just an extreme fight of everybody dropping their best crap on a single target.
Yeah, he had a 98 HP, we did 104.
Like, it was just an insta-kill. And because he got knocked on his butt after a trip attack, he had to use his entire movement just to get back on his feet and cast one spell that failed.
It was
that was a good move.
It was like a really sick Tom and Jerry bit. You know how like where they're like
more like itchy and scratchy.
Tom is just like Ragdoll and Jerry, and that's exactly what happened.
Used him as a corpse puppet.
You know all about that, Hunt.
Oh yeah, the whole campaign because there were all these dead bodies. I'm in school for funeral science, so I was like, this is what the body would be like at this moment. Their skin slip and all this gross stuff. And their DM was like, oh, I'm going to have to consult you on my next campaign so I know what these bodies are doing.
I mean, like, straight up, I didn't want to be called out on bad science.
Yeah, of course.
I think we were making up for the bad combat in session 2. We were just trying so hard.
Yeah.
Which this mage was supposed to be harder than the automaton in the alternative timeline, but...
I'm going to go ahead and say session 4 was a very quick session because of just time constraints and the time of night we started playing.
We got new stuff, too, from the boss.
Yes.
Fate's got some robes. What were your robes?
The exact name of the robes are...
Is that a robe you invented, like my grappling hook, or is it something...
It's another invention.
Yeah, it's the Mage Warden robes, which basically allows me to take any spell that I know and imprint it onto the robe, and I can now cast it as a cantrip. So
you store a spell in the robe.
Yeah.
Once a day.
Pretty cool.
Which, hey, that's a free lightning bolt spell.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is if you cast, you could store a lightning bolt in that robe today, but you won't be able to cast it today. It requires the use of the spell to imprint it.
Yeah, so I'm basically turning Fate into a combination of Palpatine and Jar Jar Binks.
Not inaccurate.
Oh my god.
Now, does that make me want to kick you out of my house? Yes, but is that inaccurate? No.
What a horrifying image that just popped into my mind.
We have unlimited power!
Do it! Stop! Do it! Just imagine that being the villain in Rise of Skywalker. Just terrible.
Yeah, it's Jar Jar Binks' half-dead corpse on that automatic arm.
I'm trying to forget that now.
Did you see that movie?
Yes.
No.
I'm trying to actively forget
Which
that.
one?
Rise of Skywalker?
We haven't seen the newest one.
I've seen some of the highlights because
Okay.
it's been pirated.
But,
oh no!
yeah, so you've seen clips of that.
Yes.
Like YouTube
I've seen
clips.
enough to know what happens.
You poor soul.
I
I
got
know.
a dagger with psychic damage, 1d4 plus dex plus int, and it can, like...
Once a day you can knock somebody out
Yeah,
if they don't pass a contract.
which is pretty cool. And then there was also this master key that lets like one thing pass through a portal. And Fate reached for it. He was like, "It's time for Fate to take something," is what he was going to say. He's like, "It's time for Fate," and then Oliver snatches it, and he goes,
No, what I said was, I'm going to, and as I reach for it, Oliver grabs it, and I say, let Oliver take it. Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
"Yes."
I knew
Sure, totally. That's what I meant.
I knew Fate wanted it. I'm like, you only get one thing.
It's not fair for him to get two things, me get one, and you get nothing.
So the master key once a day allows you to pull a single object through a physical barrier. So, for instance, you could cast it on a door and one person could walk through a door, or you could cast it on a chest and you could pull an object out of that chest. But only one object in its entirety can pass through that portal. So,
Nice.
I don't like it.
My
we'll
name
see what
is Jeff.
happens.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the next time we do this.
Yeah, that's sessions 3 and 4. I'm about to sneeze, so I'm gonna hold it in.
So session 5 will be much more significant and much more well developed because we just kind of had to cram session 4 in.
Also, I feel
Will
like-
our heroes succeed where they have failed before? Will Fate ever get his HP above 6?
Find
No!
out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Are you good?
I hate myself.
It's okay. I love you, hon.
Thank you.
I love you enough to compensate for your self-hate.
Wow. You don't. No one does. Okay.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, so we're going to bounce on out of here. Next, we'll see you for a future episode very soon, but it won't be a D&D. I think we're going to do an episode on miniatures or something about the Pokemon trading card game is what we're thinking.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, that was sessions 3 and 4. 5 will be coming in at least a month. We're spreading them out. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time when Fate knocks at your door.
That's me.
Oh my god. I quit.